How you doing today? Want to start off this question. Hopefully, get some comments from you all. I got to tell you, as I kind of sit here and I mull this data each and every day, I got to tell you, it feels like Wall Street and Main Street are not in sync. Main Street is where you and I live. It's you and I's daily activity, and it's not going great, right? I mean, when you think about it in totality, and then you see Wall Street sort of bouncing back, pretty aggressively. It kind of feels like we're being set up for something. I don't. It kind of feels like the rich are out there working some strings in the background. Also, seems like there's a lot of companies getting loans today. I think we talked about three or four yesterday. Airbnb got another one today, a second $1 billion investment. So it just feels like we have to retest the lows. So I'm curious, do you think, as we sit here on April 15th, do we retest the lows? Do we break through them, or are they in? I'm actually, at least on the stock market side, more negative than I've been in a couple of weeks. I think we have to test them. I think there's good morning. I think there's a second and third order derivative coming. We never saw the tech wreck that I've been calling for, so I think that's coming as earnings announcements come around and dividends get cut, and all of those things. It just doesn't feel right to me. And I know there's a lot of people out there talking about, hey, the bottom is in, time to invest, buying opportunity of a lifetime. I got to just sit here and tell you, I don't believe them. I think this, if it's not a true setup, meaning it's been manipulated to do this, to take more of our hard-earned savings that we probably have sitting in cash, I just don't know what else it is. So I just wanted to get that out there. It's been bothering me for a couple of days. I've been doing a lot of reading on it. And so I want to know from you, right? Is the bottom of, I don't know, pick a index, the S&P. Is the bottom of the S&P index in? It was on March 23rd of this year. I wish I wrote down the number, but I didn't. So is the bottom in or not? And as I've said earlier, I don't think it's in. I think we go much, much lower. So we'll see. So on that stand front, I got a lot of information to talk about today. So let's get into it. First off, did you know that given the souped up unemployment, that if you make more than 50, or I'm sorry, if you make less than 50K, you are better off staying home and sitting on your couch. Take that in for a minute. So, and I suspect people are starting to get those unemployment checks, right? We had a horrible week. Week one was 3.3, then 6.9, then 6.5. I think these unemployment checks are showing up. So again, if you make less than 50K, in most states, you make more staying home, which, by the way, I think is a good thing. Don't read this as I'm being negative about that. I think that is exactly what the federal government should do. You're the people that asked us to stay home, so you should pay up. But what I'm thinking about is, at least in my market, I happen to invest in a market where if you make 50K a year, you can live comfortably. Most of my tenants should pay rent, right? We were a little nervous about April, but at this point, if you make less than 50K, which is most of my tenants, you're going to be getting unemployment checks that are greater than that. So now we just need to rely on people not being stupid and buying stuff on Amazon and, Gucci belts and, all that stuff. But I think in this environment, people are going to feed themselves, pay rent, put gas in their cars if they're driving anywhere. So, and just for the record, as of yesterday evening at 5 o'clock Pacific, we were almost 93% rent collected for April, which is only a point lower than March. Today's the big day. Usually by the 15th, there's just some people that are always late. So we'll see what happens. We could get to 96 or 97, which would make it a normal month. So, and this is across hundreds of tenants. So Again, just think about that. You know, make less than 50K in your job, busting your butt 8, 10 hours a day, and you can make more sitting at home. So, you know, that's just the facts. Goldman Sachs raised Tesla to $800 a share. Talked about a strong balance sheet. Um, it's just odd, right? I don't get the story, right? Weren't we talking about Tesla 6, 8 weeks ago about, oh my God, they just went and raised some more money? Maybe that was obviously a good idea. Didn't we talk about Tesla yesterday, talking to their landlords about reducing rent payments? You know, all of these extra things. Um, it just, I guess I just don't get Tesla. I just don't get it, right? Um, I know it's valued as a technology company, but at some point in the future, it could be years away, it could be decades away, it's going to be a car company. I just don't get it. Um, I also don't think, again, Silicon Valley has Teslas everywhere. I bet there's 50 of them within 300 yards of where I'm recording this. I just don't see a lot of people running out to buy Teslas right now. So I guess I don't get it. Maybe I should research it a little bit, but I'm not going to buy it ever, so I'm not going to. Best Buy just laid off or furloughed. Let's be clear. Let's not. They didn't lay them off. They furloughed 51,000 people. Retail is not good. J.C. Penney's. Rumor is they're actively filing, getting ready to file bankruptcy papers. Again, as we talked about yesterday, more and more retailers should just go bankrupt. Just get it over with. Just go. Get in early, restructure everything so that you get out of this and you live to fight another day. Get rid of all that dead weight, all those expensive leases. That's what JCPenney should be doing. Let's just go bankrupt, spend 60, 90 days going through it. Then let's go beat the shit out of the landlords and redo our leases, right? The stores that we want to keep. Josh, you're right. Penny's was on the rocks. This just, the bullet's in their head now, so they're done. Simon Properties. I mean, I can't believe people are upgrading Simon Properties. Simon Properties is a operator who owns more malls than anybody else. I think it was 200 malls. I can't imagine a worse thing to own right now. I mean, geez, Christmas. New York manufacturing number came out today at negative 78.2. Horrible number. That is an April number, right? So some of these numbers we report on are March. This one's April, so, it's bad. No kidding. Oil, back under 20. It's a teenager again. It's interesting. Oil's under 20. The real problem with oil today, right? We talked about a month ago where we should be aggressive. I talked about a case study in my MBA class where we had to where we basically bought the other person's oil when it was under cost. The problem now is we've been doing that. We're out of supply or out of storage, right? We could be out of storage for oil inside of 2 weeks. What do you do then? Who the freaking heck would pump oil when there's no place to put it? You're just going to have it in tanker trucks sitting around? Something's going to happen to break in oil, or it's going to go under $10. I mean, oil could essentially be zero at some point. I mean, there's no value there if nobody's driving, nobody's flying. The big number today for me was April home builders. This one shocked me at how bad and how fast it was. It's not a record as far as number or print, but it's record in speed. So again, this is an April number. New home builders came in at 30.6. Anything below 50 is contraction. The estimate for the industry, again, for April was 55. Wow. Talk about a miss, right? 30.6. And the real big problem, probably not to be expected, is buyer traffic. 13. As I tie all of this together, go back and watch my video with Michael Hernandez. I think it was a week ago, maybe 8 days ago. And we talked about the MLS having a lot of higher end homes. and we called it very likely new builders, and we nailed it. Builders are throwing inventory on the market because they're, you know, what they've created before is not working, so they're trying to do everything they can. They're now paying real estate agents 6%, the full 6% if you bring a buyer. Builders are in trouble. I think for the first time, this is a new thought for me, that there will be some builders that don't make it through the summer. Builders build until they can't build anymore. That's what we learned in '06. There are going to be some builders that don't make it through this. They don't carry a lot of cash, and they need home sales to replenish. It's going to be painful. There's going to be a lot of brand new homes on the market because there's no buyers. The lending environment changed. You need more down, higher credit score, no jobs. We have record, 20, 25% unemployment. Who's going to want to buy in this environment, right? Builders are toast for several quarters. They better be conserving cash, and I don't think they are. Because again, builders build. Saw this note. I don't know anything about this company, but Occidental Petroleum apparently they apparently owed Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. I think it was a payment on some loans, and instead of sending cash, they sent stock. What Berkshire said basically is, that stock is shit. I'm going to sell it immediately. So Berkshire received the funds, registered to sell them. It was like 17 million shares. Where is it? Yeah, 17 million shares. So that's got to make you feel like Occidental Petroleum is not a company to own. That's not good. Goldman Sachs came out earnings today. What I saw in Goldman Sachs earnings is their, Wells Fargo and Chase yesterday. They came out with huge reserves for bad debt. That's now something I'm looking for in the banking stocks. And Goldman Sachs came out and only put away $1 billion, just like 937 million. I'll round to $1 billion. I don't know what that means. My guess is they're not in the consumer space as heavily as Chase and JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, which makes sense. But it also makes me think that Goldman's not set up as well as JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, because I think the entire lending stack is at risk. So I don't know what Goldman's thinking there. They're obviously probably the preeminent Wall Street firm, so clearly they've got the best and the brightest. But they make mistakes too, so they might be putting more reserves away in Q2 would be my guess. U.S. retail sales plunged 8.7%, but that's a March number. It doesn't mean anything, right? We only had 2 bad weeks. It's the April number that's going to be the record. I mean, April could be down 25%. So we had another dividend raise. I think this quarter is really going to be about which companies cut dividends and which one raised dividends. So we talked yesterday about J&J raising a dividend. I think it was 6%. Procter & Gamble, good old P&G, raised their dividend again 6%. Then there's a fun story. One of the listeners or subscribers of this channel sent me a link about an article in the Wall Street Journal. This is about a South American family from Peru. They bought eight New York apartments in the Waterline Square development because they want to stash their cash. So what does that tell you about South America, at least with this one example, right? Probably, again, I don't know who this is. It wasn't reported, but clearly one of the richest families in Peru, probably in the top 100, said, oh my God, I don't like what I see coming. Let me take my cash and go buy some real estate in New York. And oh, by the way, they signed the contract and closed the same day. How frightened do you have to be to sign and close the same day? Kind of feels weird, right? Don't you want to know the real story of that one? Like, is the cash stolen, or is it money laundered, or something like that? This is interesting. So I don't know. It just feels like the rich are going to cash. They're going to hard assets. They're getting out of stocks. They're getting out of currency. So I don't know. Then next up, we got Marriott Hotels closing 25% of their hotels. I'm actually shocked it's not more. They do have 77,300 Airbnb borrowed $1 billion. This is their second $1 billion. You know what interest rate they're paying? 9%. This is like a hard money loan if you're in the real estate business, man. They're paying 9%. And then Carnival Cruise CEO, you got to love him. He's trying. He came out the other day and said that, yes, while we're going through horrific times and the cruise lines are shut down, nobody's sailing, 2021 bookings are great. I'm an avid cruiser. That is my funnest vacation. My funnest vacation ever was a cruise around the Mediterranean Sea. You couldn't pay me to get on a cruise today. They're going to have to change all of their cleaning procedures, their air filtration. I am not getting on a cruise, and I love cruising. So it's interesting to see him do that and give it the old good college try. So again, a couple of things for you to ask and think about. I'd love to leave your comments below. One is, it certainly feels like to me Main Street and Wall Street aren't in sync. Main Street, where you and I live, it's rough. It's hard. It's getting harder. And then you have Wall Street up 20, 25% from the bottom. It just doesn't feel right to me. It feels fake, feels manipulated. It feels like it's trying to get try to get more of us investors to buy stocks, which I don't think is the right thing. But here's the real question. Do you think the bottom is in for stocks? The bottom was March 23rd. I believe this bottom is not in, and I'd love to hear from you. And again, if you think the bottom's in, great. I mean, we need to be positive. So this is an interesting time. So in the end, I want to wish you all the best. We will have an interview later in the day with Anna Kelly, who is our Wednesday guest. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.